Hello and welcome to Let's Play Freeway Fighter by Ian Livingstone, a thrilling futuristic adventure in which you are the hero. Okay, there's the front cover. This is book number 13 in the Fighting Fantasy series. There we go. Okay, let's read the synopsis. Part story, part game, this is a book in which you become the hero. After a rogue killer virus, a vast barbaric wilderness is all that remains of the world. Survivors like you either live in scattered fortified towns or roam outside as bandits. Life is lawless and dangerous. Your mission is to cross the wilderness to the far distant oil refinery at San Anglo. It definitely says San Anglo. And bring vital supplies back to the peaceful town of New Hope. Even in the armed Dodge Interceptor you are given, the journey will be wild and perilous. Will you survive? Freeway Fighter has an extended combat system, a double adventure sheet, and a lot of excitement. All you need is 2 dice, a pencil, and an eraser. You decide which way to go, which weapons to use, and which dangers to risk. Fighting Fantasy Books, a worldwide sensation. Cover illustration by Jim Burns. Okay, Freeway Fighter by Puffin Books. Devastated by a rogue killer virus, all that remains of the world you once knew is a vast barbaric wilderness. Survivors like you, not yourself, that's a redundant reflexive. Is it being reflexive? No. Reflexive use is you did it yourself. Or you are touching, you are hitting yourself. He is touching himself. He is writing on himself. That's reflexive. It's when the object of the verb is the same entity as the subject, the same one doing the verb. So I am talking to myself means I and the one to whom I'm talking are both the same person, so I'm using it reflexively. That's why it's called a reflexive pronoun. Or it's used intensively. I did it myself. It's to emphasize that you're doing it without anyone else. It's not used like that. It's not used as a replacement for an objective pronoun like you or me. It's survivors like you, because it's not needed. The yourself isn't needed. It's therefore it's redundant. It's a redundant reflexive. Anyway, survivors like you either live in scattered, fortified towns or roam outside as bandits. Life is lawless and dangerous. I mean, the very fact that they said survivors like yourself there, yet on the synopsis they say survivors like you. I mean, which one is it? They can't both be right. Is it survivors like you, or is it survivors like yourself? I mean, there's only one thing that's right. It's survivors like you. Why can they never get that right? So many times I hear that mistake, and it's really irritating. Anyway, your mission is to cross the wilderness to the far distant oil refinery at San Angelo. Note how it says San Angelo here, and then on the synopsis it said San Anglo. So, that's a good start. Anyway, far distant oil refinery at San Angelo, and bring vital supplies back to your peaceful hometown of New Hope. Even in the armed Dodge Interceptor you are given, the journey will be wild and perilous. Will you survive? Ian Livingstone, co-founder of the highly successful Games Workshop and editor of White Dwarf, has created a thrilling adventure set in the not-too-distant future. Freeway Fighter is complete with an extended combat system and a double adventure sheet with which to record your gains and losses. All you need is 2 dice, a pencil, and an eraser. Many dangers lie ahead, and your success is by no means certain. Powerful adversaries are ranged against you, and often your only hope is to kill or be killed. Yeah, Games Workshop. There was one of those in near where I live, and when I'd never heard of it before about the age of 15, and I saw it, the sign for Games Workshop, and not knowing what it was, I went in there thinking, oh, maybe they have some good video games, and I was really disappointed going in there and realising it's just sort of models about whatever it is, Warhammer or something, and no disrespect to people who like Warhammer or Games Workshop or whatever, but I have no interest in that whatsoever, and it astonishes me that there is business for a whole there's business for a whole shop to sell sort of figurines of sort of fantastic sort of mythical creatures or whatever. It just astonishes me that there's enough business for that. Although admittedly it's not, the shop isn't there anymore, but it might have moved, I don't know. But I think I did see it in another location, but I can't remember. Anyway, I remember being really disappointed about Games Workshop, thinking it was going to be video games, but it wasn't. It was that. But no disrespect to people who like it. I'm sure it's really fun, but I'm not into that at all. Anyway, that's the same page repeated. Yeah, this isn't my copy of the book. This is a PDF I got from a torrent. My copy of the book is in the bookcase next to me, or near me, whatever. Anyway, here's the list of books, and the person who owned this, or the original copy of this scan, they've used this as a checklist now, which is annoying. I have all the books. I think there are 60 or so books in the Fighting Fantasy series. I have definitely all of them up to 29, and then I have I'm missing a few after that. The trouble is, the higher up you go in the numbers, you know, like the Legend of Zagor and stuff like that, the more expensive and rarer they are. The ones like Warlock of Firetop Mountain and Forest of Doom and stuff, they're quite common and cheap on Amazon and stuff, but you know, they're quite the further up you go, the rarer they are. You know, I have a few of them after 29, like, you know, Portal of Evil, which is, you know, one of the best ones, if not the best in my opinion, and also not written by either Steve Jackson or Ian Livingstone. Yeah, Vault of the Vampire, Legend of Zagor, Return to Firetop Mountain, all that stuff. But yeah, still need the rest of them, but, you know, they're just so expensive after that. I mean, some of them cost about 30 or 40 quid, you know, just for a book, you know, an old book. And even more than that, like 60 quid for some of the ones in the 50s. You know, I'll get them eventually, but it's just not a priority at the moment. Steve Jackson's Sorcery, yeah, I have the first book in the series, the Shamu Tanti Hills. They're all really expensive now, and they're really difficult books as well. The first one I read in the series, I've never read the second and third one. I'll have to get those at some point. I don't have PDFs either. Anyway, the fourth one, Crown of Kings, was the first one I read of the Sorcery series, and I got that because in the library in the old days, if you're under 16, it was free, but if you're over 16, you had to pay 50p. You could order a book from another library in that local area, and they'd deliver it to that library, then you could borrow it, and I did that with the Crown of Kings and a few others in this series, and other books that I wanted, because, you know, it was before the days of Amazon and eBay and all that stuff, so you could get books, you know, for nothing. To encourage kids to read, it was free for under 16s, and I used to get these books, a lot of them. Anyway, Fighting Fantasy, the role-playing game, I haven't done that. I have Out of the Pit, Fighting Fantasy Monsters, that's quite amusing. Anyway, Freeway Fighter by Ian Livingstone, illustrated by Kevin Baunter. Kevin Baunter? I don't know. For Ronnie, maybe it's Ronnie Cray. Or Ronnie Barker, Ronnie Corbett, Ronnie... What other Ronnies are there? Ronnie O'Sullivan, the snooker player, Ronnie... No, that's it. That's all the Ronnies that I can think of. Anyway, let's have a read of this. Personal abilities. As in previous Fighting Fantasy game books, your abilities will be determined by dice rolls and entered on your adventure sheet on pages 18 to 21. Your 3 abilities are as follows. Skill, roll 1 die, add 6 as number, and enter the total in the skill box on the adventure sheet. Your skill score is a measure of your driving, mechanical, and fighting abilities. Skill may increase or decrease slightly during your journey, but may never exceed its initial value. Okay, let's do this. Okay, here's the blank adventure sheet. Let me just move it into the camera view. There we can make it a bit smaller. There we go. Okay, roll 1 die. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so... Whoops, yeah, I know that. Getting rid of the buzzing. Okay, 4 plus 6 is 10, so our initial skill is 10. Okay, next. Stamina. Roll 2 dice, add 24 to the number rolled, and enter the total in the stamina box on the adventure sheet. Your stamina score is a measure of your physical fitness and constitution. Your stamina score will reduce as injuries are sustained. The med kit in your jacket contains 10 packs of medical supplies to help heal wounds. Using the med kit restores 4 stamina points. Okay, so it pretty much replaces the provision, so I'll just replace this with med kit. Actually, I'll put medical kit, that's better, isn't it? Medical kit. We've got 10. Or we have 10, rather. Oh yeah, we're rolling the dice, aren't we? Okay, so add 24 to this. So yeah, whatever. No, 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 nope. Yes. Okay, so 9 plus 24 is 33. So we've got 33 stamina. That's good, isn't it? That was lucky. I got 9. Okay. Your stamina score will reduce as injuries are sustained. The medkit in your jacket contains 10 packs of medical supplies to help heal wounds. Using the medkit restores 4 stamina points. You may use the medkit at any time, except when engaged in combat, but remember to deduct a pack from your adventure sheet each time you use the medkit. Remember also that your stamina score may never exceed its initial value. Luck, roll 1 die, add 6 to the number, and enter the total in the luck box from your adventure sheet. Okay. Luck. No. Yes. Okay, so we've got 5 plus 6, which is 11. That's 11 luck. That was lucky. Your luck score is a measure of fate and fortune in your life. At various times during your journey, either in combat or when you come across situations in which you could either be lucky or unlucky, details of these are given on the pages themselves. You may call on... See, that reflexive pronoun is being used intensively on the pages themselves. That's intensive use. That's all right. You know, that's not a redundant reflexive. You may call on your luck to make the outcome more favourable, but beware, using luck is a risky business, and if you are unlucky, the results could be disastrous. The procedure for using your luck is as follows. Roll 2 dice. If the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky and the result will go in your favour. If the number rolled is higher than your current luck score, you have been unlucky and you will be penalised. This procedure is known as testing your luck. Each time you test your luck, you must subtract 1 point from your current luck score. Thus, you will soon realise that the more you rely on your luck, the more risky this will become. Additions to your luck score may be awarded during your journey when you have been particularly lucky. Remember that your luck score may never exceed its initial value. I've never understood that. Surely if you've been really lucky, that you should deduct a point from your luck score. It doesn't make you more lucky, because the more you're lucky, it's sort of... the more you use, the more you're lucky, the less lucky you're likely to be in the future. I don't know. Or maybe being lucky means you're more of a lucky person, so that will increase your luck. I don't know. It's all rubbish. Anyway, yeah, so we have luck. Right, okay, car specifications. Your car's armour and weaponry will also be determined by dice rolls and entered on the adventure sheet. Its 2 main features are as follows. Roll 1 die, add 6 to this number, and enter the total in the firepower box on the adventure sheet. Okay, roll 1 die. No. Yes. Okay, so we have 11 firepower. So firepower, and don't forget, as Duke Nukem always says in Duke Nukem Land of the Babes, because every time you kill an enemy, you have to say something. Every time, you can never have enough firepower. Along with the other sayings, such as Rupert Daddy, which is how he always sounds when he says, "Who's your daddy?" It always sounds like Rupert Daddy. And the other one is, "You guys suck." Every time you kill an enemy in that game. Terrible game, that Duke Nukem Land of the Babes. Could have been so much more. Anyway, the firepower score is a measure of the car's engine power and the effectiveness of its machine guns. Firepower may increase or decrease during your journey, but may never exceed its initial value. The use of the car's rocket launcher is explained below under Vehicle Combat. Armour. Roll 2 dice, add 24 to this number, and enter the total in the armour box on the adventure sheet. The armour score is a measure of the car's defences. Okay, roll 2 dice, add 12. Is it add 12? Oh no, sorry, it's add 24, I apologise. No, no, yes. Add 24, that's 33, so that's 33 armour. It's good, we still have the armour from throwback to Space Assassin. Okay, 33 armour. That's good. Was the stamina? Yeah, and 24, it was good. In addition to its machine guns and an unlimited supply of bullets, the car also carries missile weapons which may be used during combat. You have at your disposal 4 rockets, see Vehicle Combat, and 3 canisters of iron spikes. 4 rockets, 3 iron spikes. Let's write that down. 4 rockets, 3 canisters of iron spikes. And 2 rear-mounted oil sprays with 1 canister of oil each. So we've got 2 oil sprays. Yeah, so 2 oil sprays each. So 2 cans of oil each. Yeah, so 2 cans of oil. Yeah. It's easier just to say just 1 spray with 2 cans, not 2 sprays with 1 can each, because either way we have 2, it doesn't really matter, does it? Which may be used when the option is given. These missiles must be crossed off your adventure sheet when used. Fuel may be acquired during the journey and should be entered in on the adventure sheet in the space provided. Other modifications to and accessories for your car which are acquired during the journey should also be entered on the adventure sheet. Armor may increase or decrease during the adventure as a result of damage or repairs to your interceptor, but may never exceed its initial value. Combat. During your journey you will certainly encounter some nasty characters who will attack you either while you are driving or when you are on foot. In gaming terms, there are 3 types of simultaneous combat. Hand fighting. Hand fighting covers all non-missile hand-to-hand combat, including handheld weapons such as a baseball bat. The combat sequence for hand fighting is as follows. Roll 2 dice. Add your opponent's skill score to the roll. The resulting total is your opponent's attack strength. Roll 2 dice, add your skill score to the roll. The resulting total is your attack strength. If your opponent's attack strength is higher than your own, you have been hit. Proceed to step 6. If your attack strength is higher than your opponent's, you have hit him or her. Proceed to step 6. If both attack strengths are equal, both attacks have missed. Start the next attack round from step 1 above. A successful hit causes injury, which is represented by deductions from the injured party's stamina score. A bare-handed punch reduces a person's stamina by 1 point, but handheld weapons such as a baseball bat cause additional injuries as ruled. Start the next attack round. Repeat steps 1 to 6 above and continue until either you or your opponent has suffered the loss of 6 stamina points. If your opponent is the first to lose 6 stamina points, he or she will be knocked out and you will be able to continue your journey. If you are the first to lose 6 stamina points, you will be knocked out and will learn of your fate at the next reference to which you are sent. Of course, if during hand fighting your stamina is reduced to 0, you will be dead. Okay, so that's a bit different. So we have to remember, there's knockouts in this. So if we lose 6 stamina points, we're knocked out instantly, regardless of whether we are still alive or not. Shooting. Shooting rules cover handguns, rifles, throwing knives, bows and arrows, etc. Your own revolver is assumed to have unlimited ammunition. Okay, so we have a revolver. Okay, new line, there we go. Roll 2 dice, add your opponent's skill score to the roll, the resulting total is your opponent's attack strength. Roll 2 dice, add your skill score to the roll, the resulting total is your attack strength. If your opponent's attack strength is higher than your own, you have been hit, proceed to step 6. If your attack strength is higher than your opponent's, you have hit him or her, proceed to step 6. If both attack strengths are equal, both attacks have missed, start the next attack round from step 1 above. A successful hit causes injury, which is represented by deductions from the injured party's stamina. Missile weapons cause varying amounts of injury. Roll 1 die and deduct this number from the injured party's stamina. This is to reflect the fact that a bullet, for example, might cause only a minor flesh wound, or could kill outright. Start the next attack round, repeat steps 1 to 6 above, and continue until either your own or your opponent's stamina score is reduced to 0. Death. Vehicle combat. Vehicle combat usually refers to machine gun battles between vehicles. Your interceptor has a turret-mounted, computer-controlled machine gun that can fire in all directions. The sequence for vehicle combat is as follows. Roll 2 dice. Add the firepower score of your opponent's vehicle to the roll. The resulting total is your opponent's attack strength. Roll 2 dice. Add the firepower score of your interceptor to the roll. The resulting total is your attack strength. If your opponent's attack strength is higher than your own, your interceptor has been hit. Proceed to step 6. If your attack strength is higher than your opponent's, you have hit his or her vehicle. Proceed to step 6. Where am I? If both attack strengths are equal, both attacks have missed. Start the next attack round from step 1 above. A successful hit causes damage to a vehicle, which is represented by deductions from its armor score. Roll 1 die and deduct this number from the vehicle's armor score. Start the next attack round. Repeat steps 1 to 6 above and continue until the armor score of either of your interceptor or of your opponent's vehicle is reduced to 0, destroyed. It is assumed that the driver of a destroyed car is automatically killed in a resulting crash or explosion. If during vehicle combat you wish to launch a rocket at a target instead of firing a machine gun at it, you may do so before the start of any attack round, remembering to delete one rocket from your adventure sheet. A hit will be automatic and will destroy any target. Oh, brilliant. Credits. Credits are the emergency currency units of the 21st century. Known familiarly as creds, you start your journey with 200 credits. So, replace gold with credits. That's an imaginative name, isn't it? It's only what they always call money. Gran Turismo springs to mind, and other things. And Total Recall. Anyway. See your adventure sheet, but are likely to spend and or acquire more credits along the way. However, most people distrust credits and prefer to barter. You may, for instance, have to use some of your med kit in barter. If so, delete what you spend from your adventure sheet as usual. Oh dear, yawn there. Right, okay. Oh, they've actually written on the book. I mean, stupidity knows no bounds, does it? I mean, write it on a bit of paper. Anything but write in the damn book. I mean, seriously. I mean, look, you can see where it's been rubbed out, and the book is all sort of ruined because it's rubbed out. Oh, but it's okay, because when they write a 7, they put a line through it. Because just in case that they confuse their 1s with a 7. Oh, it's like people who put a line through their Zs, because they might confuse it with a 2. What kind of... It's just so sort of, I don't know, just a lowbrow thing to do, in my opinion. I just, putting lines through 7s and Zs is just, just lowbrow. Anyway, Vid News Bulletin. Dateline 21st of July 2022. Oh, blimey, it's only next year. The disaster happened just at a time when the world was beginning to enjoy itself. Nobody could have predicted such a catastrophe. World War III had been averted, and the power blocks of East and West were now working towards world peace and unity. Revolutionary farming techniques had all but eradicated hunger, and increased mobility had led to people's greater understanding of one another. The morning of 21st July 2022 had started just like any other. It was going to be a hot day, and the news on the Holovision was good. A government no, all we have is widescreen. I don't even have one of them because I hate TV. A government spokesman, or don't they mean spokesperson? Oh dear. A government spokesman proudly announced that solar energy now powered 90% of homes and 70% of industry. The 3-day working week was now the norm, and England was to play the United States in the soccer finals of the World Cup in Sydney. However, there were only hours to go before the beginnings of the collapse of civilization. It was either a virus or... Oh, it was a virus, wasn't it, what was saying? Or it was a zombie epidemic caused by a virus. Later that day, an unknown disease broke out in New York and spread with such devastating speed and fatality that before the government and scientists realized what was happening, half the population was dead. The disease spread throughout the world, carried by aeroplane passengers, and decimated population centers everywhere. All attempts at quarantine were useless. 4 days after the outbreak, 85% of the world's population were dead. Communications, essential services, transport and administration had broken down completely. There was no one left to try to find the cause of the outbreak. It might have been a mutated virus or some lethal germ unknowingly released from a chemical warfare laboratory. It was mere speculation, and nobody really cared, as survival was the top priority. If there are any sort of parallels you can draw with real life, including the year, make that on your own and leave a comment underneath. I'll leave that there. Lest this video be deleted, by the powers of thought crime, whatever it is. Anyway, there was no one left to find the cause of the outbreak. It might have been a mutated virus or some lethal germ unknowingly released from a chemical warfare laboratory. It was more speculation, and nobody really cared. It was mere speculation. I don't have my glasses on. It was mere speculation, and nobody really cared, as survival was the top priority. The speed with which civilization fell into ruins was frightening. Most survivors didn't know why they still lived, and didn't know how to go on living. Brute force became the law. Riots, looting, destruction, and drunkenness were commonplace. People would even kill for a can of beans. Large cities were soon abandoned due to lack of food and risk of disease. 6 months after the disaster, there remained two kinds of people: those who wanted order again, and those who revelled in the disorder. The former grouped themselves into small towns and built defences around them. Inside, they appointed leaders and began the task of self-sufficiency. These fortress towns became the homes of the military, farmers, doctors, and people concerned with the rebuilding of civilization. The other group lived a wild and brutal existence outside. They were the new barbarians. Roaming the land in cycle or car gangs, they terrorized or wiped out any small pockets of civilization they came across. Should that be across whom they came? I'll look that one up. Depends if across is a preposition or not, and if come across is a verbal phrase, i.e. it would make across an adverb, so it would stay at the end. You are one of the lucky survivors living in a fortress. Next page. Oh, a fortress town, which has been named New Hope. You are working on the design of an early warning system to protect the town. When you hear a knock at your door, it is two members of the town council, and they look very excited. They tell you that their radio has just picked up a message from a fortified oil refinery near San Angelo. It's San Angelo again, I thought it was San Angelo. In the south, the people there are willing to exchange 10,000 litres of petrol for grain and seeds to improve their food production. The inhabitants of New Hope could certainly use the petrol for generators and agricultural machinery. Being offered 10,000 litres of this rare commodity is too good an opportunity to miss, especially as there are surplus stocks of grain and seed. The council have agreed to the deal and are now looking for somebody to undertake the journey to San Angelo to deliver the sacks and drive the petrol tanker back to New Hope. It will be a long and dangerous journey through lawless country. The two men tell you that they think you are the best trained person to undertake such a mission and ask if you would like to volunteer. They tell you that a Dodge Interceptor will be prepared for the journey. It will be fitted with machine guns, radio, roof-mounted rocket launcher, ram bars, loudspeaker, and various defences, including rear oil spray, tyre shredding spikes, armour plating, and bulletproof windows. You do not need convincing, as the benefit to New Hope will be enormous. This pioneer journey might be the start of the link between the new societies trying to bring about civilization. If you succeed, you tell them that you will do the job and begin your preparations immediately. Over the next 2 days, you supervise the modifications to the Interceptor. When it is finally ready, it looks like a battle car. You check it one last time to ensure that the weapons work and that all your equipment has been packed away in the various compartments. You run through the checklist: map, flashlight, medkit, compass, food, water, full fuel canister, 2 spare wheels, flat you fix. Do I have to write all these down? Right, okay, map, flashlight, medkit, okay. Better write all these down. Map, I'll just put torch for flashlight because, you know, that's what it is. Already got the med kit. Compass, food, water. Right. Compass, food, water, or water, as the Americans say. Full fuel canister. I'll just put fuel canister. 2 spare wheels. 2 spare wheels. Flat you fix and tools. Flat you fix tools. Right, nope, tools. And I'll just say the fuel canister is full. There we go, blimey. Barely enough room for me. Finally, you put on the shoulder holster for your revolver and leather jacket, which carries your bullets and knife. Oh, I have a knife. So let's put that down. Knife. Right. Satisfied that you are ready, you climb into the driver's seat, peering through the narrow steel slit that is now your windscreen. You see the town's population gathered to wave you goodbye. You start up the engine of the Interceptor and crawl forward to the gate leading to the outside world. It is over a year since you last ventured beyond the walls of New Hope, and you are excited at the prospect of what you will find. Now turn over. Finally, blimey. Okay, the first thing to strike you as you cruise along the road is the speed with which everything has fallen into decay. You hadn't realised how much maintenance was needed to support civilization. All around, buildings are falling into ruin, abandoned cars litter the roads in rusted disarray, grass and weeds have grown rampant everywhere, with nobody to hold them back, and packs of dogs and other wild animals roam freely. You stop at a small town some 15 miles from New Hope and switch off your engine. Suddenly it is deathly silent apart from the eerie howl of a dog somewhere down the street. You are tempted to get out of the car to explore, but realise that this is an unnecessary risk. You are about to start your engine again when suddenly the sound of a shotgun breaks the silence. If you wish to get out of the car to investigate, turn to 126. If you'd rather drive out of the town, turn to 34. We are going to drive out of the town and turn to 34. Okay, 34, here we go. Oh, hello, blimey. Hubba hubba. You are soon out of town, zigzagging around wrecked cars and fallen trees along the road. Further ahead, you can see that the road joins the main highway south. There is a small filling station at the junction named Joe's Garage. You stop, as you are intrigued with a hot rod parked around the side, looking clean and in running condition. A young girl suddenly comes out of the office wearing a t-shirt and blue jeans. She smiles and says, "Hi, can I help you?" If you wish to talk to her, turn to 302. If you'd rather drive up onto the highway, turn to 167. We're going to drive up onto the highway and turn to 167. I'm going to resist her allure. Anyway, 167. Despite the hazard of having to avoid abandoned cars, the highway is wide enough for you to gather plenty of speed. It's exciting to drive so freely without fear of being hauled in by the police for violating some traffic regulation or other. Yeah, those speeding laws, stopping people from being killed. Yeah, how awful they are. You smile as your speed reaches 100... Okay, what's... 190... Yeah, 190 times 5/8 is... Okay, we have... I'll put this in miles per hour. You smile as your speed reaches 118.75 miles per hour, but your joy is short-lived. You suddenly see a red Chevrolet, heavily reinforced with steel plating, coming straight towards you. Somebody is sitting in a small turret on the roof, a machine gunner. You think to yourself that maybe having to deal with the police in the old days wasn't so bad compared with what is coming at you now. You breathe in deeply and get ready to press the machine gun fire button. Red Chevy, firepower 8, armor 15. If you manage to destroy the Chevy in this vehicle combat, turn to 188. There he is, right. Okay, I'll just do this and I'll end the video. Okay, 167. How do I do vehicle combat again? Right, so add the firepower score of your opponent's vehicle to the roll. So, him, then me. Okay, then it's deduct. Then we roll for the armor. Okay. Okay, so then we roll how much armor. When the armor goes to 0, then it's gone. Okay, 167. Okay, so red Chevy, firepower 8, armor 15. Red Chevy, I'll put firepower. Firepower 8. And what was it? Armor 15. There we go. Alright, there we are. Okay, so we roll for him first and we add it to 8. Okay, so 8 plus 2 is 10, so that's 10, and I get... what was it? I don't know. Oh. No, it's my firepower, isn't it? So 11. So it was 10 to... what was it? 10 to 18, yeah. So 10 to 18, that means I win. Right. Whoops. Oh. Okay, so that means he's got... oh, then I roll a die to determine how much armor I take off. Okay. Oh, 6. That was good. Right, that takes 6 off. He's down to 9 then. There we go. Okay, now we do it again. Okay, so 8, so it's 15, I get 21. So 15 to 21, I win again. Then we roll another die. 3, that means take off 3. So that puts him down to 6. Okay, then we start again. 8 plus 2 is 10, I get 17. So 10 to 17. Roll a die to determine damage. 2. That puts him down to 4. Okay. 8 plus 11 is 19. I get 5 plus... I get 16. So 19 to 16. That means he did damage to me. So I have to roll a die for that now. 3. That means I do 3 damage to my armour. So let's do that. So we're down to 30 on the old armour. Okay, now we start again. 8 plus 5 is 13. I get 14. So 13 to 14. Puts it... oh, I don't know how much it's put down. Roll one die. 1. That puts him down to 3. And again. Whoops, wrong one. 8 plus 5 is 13. I get 21. So 13 to 21. Roll a die. Oh, good. That's the end of him. Right, so he's down to 0 now. That's the end of Mr. Red Chevy. Okay, let's carry on. 188 if we win. Okay, last paragraph, then I'll end the video. Oh, it's a long one. You stop your interceptor to examine the burning wreck. Who were these people and why did they attack you without warning? You shake your head and hit the accelerator, eager to reach your destination. You are passing a security truck and thinking about all the money inside it, which is now useless. When suddenly a voice comes through on your radio above the crackling static. It is one of New Hope's leaders. She tells you how a gang of bikers have just attacked New Hope, killing 8 people in the process. After a short battle, they were eventually beaten off. She warns you to be on the lookout for them as they have kidnapped Sinclair, the council leader. You acknowledge the message and say goodbye. After an hour or so of driving without any further incident, you notice that your petrol gauge is dropping. The interceptor is very heavy on petrol. You stop and pour the contents of the fuel canister into the tank, realizing that you will have to find some more petrol soon. A few miles further and you know your luck has really run out. There must have been a car crash. Okay, so I've used the petrol canister. Okay, so I'll just put empty. Okay. There must have been a car crash at the time of the disaster which caused a huge tailback of now abandoned cars. It is impossible to continue along the highway. You reverse back to the last exit and drive off the highway. You must decide which way to head along the road which crosses over it. If you wish to drive east, turn to 341. If you wish to drive west, turn to 66. And we will decide which way to go in the next video. So we are on paragraph 188. Just as a reminder, just in case I forget. And yeah, thanks for watching. Next video we'll be deciding which way to go, east or west. Thanks again, and goodbye.